11th ക്ലാസ്സിലെ CBSE പോർഷൻ 11th ക്ലാസ്സിലെ കോംപ്ലക്സ് നമ്പേഴ്സ് എന്ന പോർഷനെ പറ്റി ഒരു വീഡിയോ എടുക്കാൻ ക്ലാസ് എടുക്കാൻ ഉദ്ദേശിക്കുന്നുണ്ട്. കോംപ്ലക്സ് നമ്പർ പഠിക്കുമ്പോൾ ആദ്യം നമ്മളൊരു ടേം പഠിക്കണം. റൂട്ട് ഓഫ് -1. റൂട്ട് ഓഫ് -1 എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാൽ I ആണ് അതിൻ്റെ വാല്യൂ. ദാറ്റ് ഈസ് ഇമാജിനറി നമ്പർ. root of -2 equal to root of 2 into -1, that is root 2 into I. Root of -1, root 2 into root -1, that is root 2 into I. I is an imaginary number. Square root, that is I square equal to -1. I square the value -1. That is imaginary. Square root of -4 equal to square root of -1 into square root of 4 equal to root 4 means 2. 2 into I. Root of -1, that is square root of a negative number, is I. That is imaginary negative number. Square root of negative number is imaginary number. That is, by squaring we get the value of I is root of -1. Squaring both sides we get I square equal to root -1 the whole square, that is -1. Root square cancel out. I square equal to -1. Square root of a negative number. Square root of -5, that is square root of -1 into 5, that is square root of a into square root of b. Root of -1 I root 5. Then we study the square root of -1, that is imaginary. Square root of negative number is imaginary number. That is, we first understand that square root of -1 equal to I. Squaring both sides -1 equal to I square. Then what is the value of I square? -1. Square root of a negative number, that is imaginary. Then we can study about a complex numbers. A number of the form. What do you mean by complex number? A number of the form A plus IB, where A and B are real numbers. Then A is called the real part of that complex number. A is called the real part of this complex number. Complex number, a number including the real part and imaginary part. The number with I, imaginary number, that is real part of the complex number is A, and B is the imaginary part of the complex number. Imaginary part, that is that the number comes with imaginary number I. I means root of -1. That is I square equal to -1. Value of I square is -1. Imaginary number. Then we can write the complex number 2 plus I, that is 2 plus I into 1, that is in the form x plus iy or a plus ib or etc. Here the real part is 2 and imaginary part is 1. Then part, and b is called the imaginary part, that is the number comes with the imaginary number. Square root of negative number, that is an imaginary number. Square root of -1, that is I. That is I square root of -1 equal to I. That is squaring both sides we get I square. We get the value of I square. We understand the value of I square. Square root kuda cancel out. Then here there are two parts in a complex number. A number of the form A plus IB, where A and B are real numbers, and A is the real part and B is the imaginary part. Similarly, here the real part is 1 and imaginary part. In this complex number, the imaginary part is root 2. That is the number which comes along with I. Here the real part is 2 plus I root 5. Real part is 2 and imaginary part is 5. The number that comes along with I, imaginary number. So root of minus 1 is an imaginary number. That number comes along with the I, imaginary part. Then I square equal to minus 1. Root minus 1 equal to I. Then the modulus of a complex number. Modulus. What do you mean by the modulus of a complex number? Modulus of a complex number is complex number x plus iy is square root of real part square plus imaginary part square. The complex number a plus ib, അതിൻ്റെ modulus, that is equal to root of a square plus b square. Then find the modulus of I plus root 5, that is equal to root of I means 1i, 1 square plus root 5 square, that is root 1 square plus root 5 in the square of 5, that is equal to root 6. Then the modulus of a complex number a plus ib is root of a square plus b square. Modulus of a complex number is root of a square plus b square. Modulus of a complex number a plus ib is square root of real part square plus imaginary part square. Then we consider a polar form, complex numbers in polar form, two-dimensional form. X dash, y dash, x dash negative left side like x axis, right side like a positive, y dash, y above positive numbers and below negative numbers. Then consider a point pxy in this plane. First quadrant, this is first quadrant, this is second quadrant, third quadrant and fourth quadrant. And I have told you the quadrants in detailed in a previous class. That is, we consider a right-angled triangle, right-angled, okay, okay. Then r equal to root of x square plus y square. There is the hypotenuse. The right triangle hypotenuse square equal to r square equal to x square plus y square. That is x equal to r cos theta real part and y equal to r sin theta imaginary part. X equal to r cos theta and y equal to r sin theta. Then equation 1 and equation 2. Then squaring and adding 1 and 2. Squaring and adding equation 1 and 2. Left side x square plus y square equal to r cos theta the whole square plus r sin theta the whole square. That is equal to r square cos square theta plus r square sin square theta equal to r square common into cos square theta plus sin square theta equal to r square into 1. That is x square plus y square equal to r square. R polar form of a complex number. Polar form of a complex number is r cos theta plus I into r sin theta, where x coordinate x plus I form, that is x equal to r cos theta and y equal to imaginary part r sin theta, that is x plus iy, the imaginary part, real part, x plus iy equal to r cos theta plus ir sin theta. Then if we equate to imaginary numbers, that is complex numbers, the two complex numbers a plus id and c plus id, then if two complex numbers are equal, then two complex numbers are said to be equal if their real parts are equal, that is a equal to c and imaginary parts are also equal, b equal to d. If the real parts are equal and imaginary parts are equal, then that complex numbers are said to be equal complex numbers. Complex numbers are equal. Then considering the Pythagoras theorem, 90 degree opposite hypotenuse. The right angled triangle base square plus altitude square equal to hypotenuse square, that is r square equal to the x, the y coordinate, x square plus y square, that is x equal to r cos theta and y equal to r sin theta, that is the complex number of the form polar form x plus iy equal to r cos theta plus ir sin theta. Then if we equate to complex numbers, then their real parts are equal, x equal to r cos theta and y equal to r sin theta. Squaring and adding these equations, we get x square plus y square equal to r square into cos square theta plus sin square theta, that is equal to r square into 1. X square plus y square equal to r square. Theta is this angle theta. Then considering this right angled triangle, then we have studied in earlier classes cos theta equal to adjacent side by hypotenuse, that is adjacent side is here x by hypotenuse r, that is cos theta equal to x by r, that is cross multiplying, which implies x equal to r cos theta. Similarly, we can find out sin theta in the right angle triangle OAP. Sin theta equal to opposite side by theta opposite side by hypotenuse, that is opposite side y axis, y length, this x is y divided by r, sin theta equal to y by r, that is cross multiplying, we get y equal to r sin theta, x equal to r cos theta and y equal to r sin theta. Equation 1 is equation 2. Squaring and adding 1 and 2, x square plus y square equal to r square sin square theta plus r square cos square theta, that is r square common എടുക്കുക, r square into sin square theta plus cos square theta, r square into 1, that is x square plus y square equal to r square. And today we have studied about complex numbers, basic concepts. Square root of -1 equal to I, that is imaginary. Squaring we get -1, that is the value of I square -1. Then consider the complex number x plus iy, then x is called the real part and y is called the imaginary part, that the number comes along with the I part. And considering I plus root 3, that is root 3 plus I means 1I. The real part here, real part is root 3 and the imaginary part is that is 1. R square equal to x square plus y square. R equal to root of x square plus y square. And the coordinates of x, y. Then r cos theta plus I r sin theta, that is x plus I y. നിങ്ങൾക്ക് ക്ലാസ് വളരെയേറെ ഫലപ്രദമായി എന്ന് ഞാൻ വിശ്വസിക്കുന്നു. നിങ്ങൾക്ക് ക്ലാസ് ഇഷ്ടമായെങ്കിൽ ലൈക്ക് ചെയ്യുക, ഷെയർ ചെയ്യുക, സബ്സ്ക്രൈബ് ചെയ്യാൻ മറക്കല്ലേ. നിങ്ങൾക്കുള്ള അഭിപ്രായങ്ങളും നിർദ്ദേശങ്ങളും എല്ലാം കമൻറ്റ് ബോക്സിൽ ഇടാവുന്നതാണ്. കമൻറ്റ് ബോക്സിൽ വരുന്ന അഭിപ്രായങ്ങൾക്കും നിർദ്ദേശങ്ങൾക്കും എല്ലാം മറുപടി നൽകുന്നതാണ്. നിങ്ങൾക്ക് ഈ വീഡിയോ ഇഷ്ടമായെങ്കിൽ നിങ്ങളുടെ എല്ലാ കൂട്ടുകാരിലേക്കും എത്തിക്കുക. ഇത് താഴെ കാണുന്ന ബെൽ ബട്ടൺ എനേബിൾ ചെയ്താൽ ഞാനിടുന്ന വീഡിയോസിൻ്റെ എല്ലാ നോട്ടിഫിക്കേഷൻസ് നിങ്ങൾക്ക് ലഭിക്കുന്നതാണ്. താങ്ക് യു.